So let's talk about assumptions, and I want to talk about, I want to get back to really the very core and central theme of these videos and why I make these videos, and the very core theme of what interests me the most and is what I think is the most amazing thing to ponder upon, what I think is the most blah blah blah. And so this is really existence itself, right? Existence, or your existence. And I feel like, sometimes I steer away from it. How do I don't know. I get sidetracked with other things, but I really want to come back to inquiring about what you are and what reality is fundamentally. What is this thing, man? This is really at the heart, the core of what I'm about, what this channel is about, what these videos are about. I mean, not always, I've got lots of other things to talk about, that kind of stem off from this, but I want to bring this back to the core, the heart of this. And really the heart of this is, what do you know for certain? What is real, man? What is true? This is the heart of it. What is truth? What is actually true? And not getting caught up in philosophies and concepts and other people's teachings about what's true, but looking in your own direct experience and actually throwing away everything that you think is true, and throwing away everything that you've previously read and heard about, and what people have said is true, what people have said is enlightenment, and what the self is. Because this is really mysterious, man. And you see, I used to inquire for my, just for the sake of inquiring. I used to try and find out what's actually going on here, because I'm genuinely fucking interested. And if you're genuinely interested and sincere about this, you don't go looking for answers in books and in other people's words and what other people say, and you don't philosophicalize about this and that. You start from square one in your own direct experience. How else are you going to know what's true? You got to think for yourself. Ask yourself, what do you know for certain? And yeah, so again, this used to be all I ever really did. Not all I ever did, but this used to be wow, this is insane. Really just relaxing your body and mind, letting go, and then inquiring into, what is this, man? What is this moment? Who am I? How is any of this possible? And for the last year or so, I've been sidetracked from this inquiry because I felt a strong calling to focus more on personal growth, focus more on building up this character, this avatar, so that I was more healthy mentally and physically, and just had better self-esteem, and made sure I took the actions that I took action in ways that I innately wanted to, and made sure I didn't neglect my the parts of myself that wanted to do things. And so this deep inquiry for truth has kind of taken a bit of a back burner. It's kind of taken a bit of a back seat. And, honestly, I think it's because, when my ex-partner and I split up, that storyline of us together, that was shattering, and I needed to build up a new story, a story in which I could, the story of, okay, well, now it's time for me to reclaim my independence and sovereignty and leadership and action taking kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I needed to develop this story of, okay, now I'm like I'm a masculine man that can go out and take the action necessary to build the life that I want to live, and this kind of stuff. I needed to do that, man. And there's this whole talk of enlightenment and like really just stepping out of the story of this character, story of the past and all that. And but it's fucking hard, dude. Like, what I've come to realize is that enlightenment's not about neglecting the story of your life. It's about honoring it, I think, because I don't know, man, like, like the times in which my ex-partner and I had together in the past, spanning all these years, there were so many loving moments, so many fulfilling moments, so much meaning, so many of these moments meant so much to me, and they still do mean so much to me, and I think they're going to always mean so much to me. So there's this whole thing of enlightenment about dropping the stories and whatever, but I don't know, man, like, it's personally, it's fucking hard, dude, like, honestly. And I don't even want to drop the stories. It's a hard thing to be in because stories create suffering. But sometimes the meaning is so profound that it's worth the suffering. It's very poignant, man. Ponder that. It's very poignant. Although the stories we have about who we are, although they're really false, to believe in it brings so much meaning to your life. And I don't know if I would trade that meaning for the end of suffering. Do you see how, like, fucking poignant that is? And I would like to say that, yeah, I'm all about the end of suffering. I'm all about the truth. I would like to say that, but when I look at my own experience, is that the truth? Perhaps that's not the truth, man. Like I said. So anyway, So it's like, I say all this because the reason why this pursuit of truth, this pursuit of inquiring deep into what is real and who I am, and being in a state of not knowing, it's something that has taken a back seat in my life, because I'm scared, really. It's been that I've been scared to do that. It's been that I don't want to lose the meaning that I have had in my life for so long. Perhaps enlightenment is the destruction of meaning, at least like inherent meaning, any like true meaning. The destruction of, I don't know, man. But again, if I'm honest with myself, here's the other thing, is that, it's hard for me to kind of talk about these kinds of things but when I was in the relationship with my ex-partner, I felt safe and secure enough to inquire into the existential matters, inquire into my direct experience, because it's like I had this kind of sense of home. I placed this sense of home in my ex-partner. And this is like, people may say that it's like, well, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put your sense of home in another person. But I think it's natural. It happens, man. Like, we put our sense of home in our parents. We have to. You grow up and it's like, of course you put your sense of home in your parents. And, for me, it's like I've been in the same... I've only recently moved out the last couple of weeks. But before that, I was in the same house for my entire life. And that house is my sense of home as well. And it's just... wherever you consistently get this love and care from, I think naturally a human creates this sense of that is home, that is safe, that is secure, So I had this sense of home. I placed this sense of home, not as a intentional, conscious thing, but this is just what happened over time. I had placed this sense of home in my ex-partner, and so I felt safe enough to go fucking balls deep into inquiring into the truth of my existence, because I knew that I could return home to a place of safety and comfort and security. And so for the last little while now, like I said, this inquiry into reality has been taking a back seat, because if I fucking go into this, man, there's not this sense of home. Yes, I've got my parents. I've got my parents' house as well. But really is like, as you get older, it's like, yes, your parents are your kind of sense of home, and then you kind of graduate out of that, and you kind of, maybe you find a partner, and then that's kind of your sense of home. And so that's kind of what happens. So now it's like, okay, but now it's like it doesn't feel like, I've got this kind of stable home anymore. And so to inquire into the true nature of reality is fucking scary to do, because you got nothing to fall back onto. There's nothing really to reinforce the storyline either. And that's really fucking scary, dude. Like, it is, dude. You're losing your whole sense of reality, man. So this is why I haven't been really inquiring in the same way that I used to. To a large extent. If this is making any sense, I think it is. So with all that being said, what do I actually mean when I talk about inquiry? Because this is where it really gets, like, we take for granted so much our own existence. We think we know who we are. We think we know what life is, what reality is. We think we know it. It's crazy, man. Even if you come to the conclusion that it's like, I am God, reality is God, you know, all the stuff that I talk about in my videos, you know, we are one, all this kind of stuff. It's like you have glimpses of this and it's like, oh yeah, that's true. But then it's like you just kind of adopt them as beliefs, and now you're just projecting that as a belief and you're projecting it onto reality rather than seeing reality through fresh eyes in every moment. Like, there's a difference there. Do you see the difference between having many glimpses of truth and then conceptualizing those glimpses and then perceiving life through those concepts? It's like, yes, you've had genuine insights, but all those insights were in the past, and now you're perceiving life through those past insights. But like, the truth is here and now, and it needs to be fresh in every moment, not perceived through a previous old concept. Do you know what I mean? And so when you really see reality with fresh eyes, and you reside in a state of not knowing, you throw away everything that you imagine to be true and that you think is probable, and you kind of ask yourself the questions like, what is actually this? What is actually happening? You really don't know, man. You really don't know. Like, why? You see this, like, why am I me? Why is consciousness conscious of this experience and not another being's experience on the other side of the world? Another, you know, why am quote unquote me, why am quote unquote I aware of this body and this mind, this experience, nothing outside of it, this moment, now, all I got? But see, asking that question is a good inquiry, but it's also coming from an assumption that there is anything other than this experience right now. And it's like, well, how, like, if I don't assume there's any other experiences other than this experience, then a lot drops away. Like, why would I make these videos then? If I wasn't operating under the assumption that there are other input machines that can consume what I am outputting now. I believe it. I am assuming it. I am imagining it in my mind and playing that game. But I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's true. But right now, it's like I'm playing it And this is the scary thing, man. It's like, if I actually look at the truth, it's like, okay, well, I don't know if there's any other experiences other than this right now. And that's really fucking scary. But it's like, okay, what do I do with that? And I like unconsciously deceive myself into believing that this assumption is just the truth, that there are other experiences out there. I had the last mushroom trip that I had like a couple months ago or so, I bawled my fucking eyes out, sobbing in my room. I fucking cried into my pillow. I drenched the pillow. It was drenched with tears, man. Like, honestly fucking drenched. And I was crying at the fact that it was just me. I was crying at the fact, I was grieving the illusion that there were others. That was true in that moment. That's fucking profound, man. Like, I was crying as God. And that wasn't like, I can't fully say that that was an imagination, that I was just imagining that I was crying as God. And it was like, no, like in that moment, I was the entire of reality crying at the poignant nature of self-deception, into deceiving myself that there are others. I was grieving that illusion, grieving the death of that illusion of others. And right now it's like, I'm still operating that illusion, because here I am talking to you, but I have to believe that you are there, otherwise am I gonna even talk? And really, honestly, like, I don't know, man. This is like, it's a bit fucked up. It's a bit fucked up, dude. It's a bit fucked up. So, but this is really, honestly, what else can I, dude. So what else do I say, man? What else do I say? Like today, like just tonight, I was having dinner with my parents in the lounge room, and I was doing some inquiry, just contemplating, just sitting there with a wide gaze, watching my lounge room and watching my parents within it, and watching my own body. And it's just really interesting, man. Like, I'm going to assume that you exist right now. That's what I'm going to do, man. So for you, like, look at your experience. Why is your experience the way it is? Like, for me, it's like, why is experiencing these bodies, this, the body of me, my mum, my dad, and this environment, just this moment, and the way it's configured, why, what is happening here? And is this all that there is? So really all I'm kind of talking about here is just giving you a reminder, like if you really want the truth, man, then you have to get into a state of not knowing. And Peter Rolston has a book called The Book of Not Knowing, which I don't think I've read it all, but I think I've read little bits and pieces. And so check that book out if you want, because I think he's a good teacher. Peter Rolston, Ralston. So it's relaxing your body, relaxing your mind, throwing away all beliefs and knowledge and stories and narratives and philosophies and ideologies, and being grounded in the moment and being open and just being like, okay, something's happening rather than nothing. And if you're honest with yourself, you don't know what it is. You don't actually know what it is. So start there. And then inquire, like, what is this? How is this happening? Who am I? You see, asking the question, who am I, is the same as asking, what is this? Because all you have access to is yourself. When you refer to this, you're referring to you, because you, this self, this I, is everything that consciousness is conscious of. It's the sounds, it's the sights, it's every quote-unquote object in your environment. It's other people's bodies, it's their voices, it's the smells, the tastes. All that is you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've known nothing else outside of yourself. All you've ever known is yourself, is your, quote-unquote, your experience. And so, when you ask the question, who am I? It's not asking it with the presupposition that you are a separate entity, an individual entity among other individual entities. No, asking yourself, who am I? This classic Ramana Maharshi self-inquiry, who am I? Is about asking really, what is this moment? What is reality? My direct experience of reality. What the fuck is experience? What the fuck is this sensate phenomena that is the only thing that is existing right now in this moment? What is that? And this is like a Zen koan. It's not about finding the answer, but it's a method, a way to let go of all ideas and just be fucking immersed in the profundity and miracle at the very fact that something is fucking happening right now, and it's not nothing, and it's this fucking intricate, like, wow, like it's not just like basic, like there's some complexity here. You know, there's some fucking shit going on, bro. And as a side note, if you are interested in what I'm talking about here, I am currently writing a book about all this. It's from transcripts from some of my previous videos in which I've edited and refined and changed up a bit to make it more coherent in text form. So that will be out very soon as an ebook and a physical book that you can order on Amazon. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be a short book, like 50 or so pages. If you're interested in this stuff, then stay tuned for that. It will be soon out, as you can click the link and buy it soon enough. So if you're interested in that, then leave a comment, let me know if you're interested in that. But that will be coming out very soon. So just as a side note. But yeah, dude, so see, again, I want to come back around to this point of this being the very core central theme and message of my videos and really what I'm all about. What like, this is what truth seeking is, man. It's not walking in the same footsteps as the Buddha or walking in the same footsteps as any fucking spiritual person that you look up to. Not trying to reach the realization that they reached. This is not a fucking walk in the park, dude. Like, seeking truth. Whatever truth is, you can't put it into words, man. Like, you can't. It's just fuck, man. You know what I mean? It's so yeah, like, again, like, when you grow up, right, all the beliefs and shit that you have, they get very solidified, and you just live in this story, in this belief system. And most people go throughout their whole lives of just living in this belief system, thinking that they know who they are and what life is and what reality is. And they feel very comfortable in that, in this quote-unquote knowing of how things are. People don't ever really question that, step outside that. But I got onto this at a fairly early age, so I wasn't fully entrenched in belief systems as much as most people. You know, if say someone reaches the age of 40 years old and they've just been entrenched in belief systems, then to kind of uproot that, to get out of that, it probably can take a lot of work. Whereas I started really getting down to like the direct path, really, the direct truth seeking of thinking for myself, finding out what's true for myself, contemplating and philosophizing myself rather than looking into books and stuff. Of course, I read books and listened to spiritual people and whatever, but really I understood that if I want the truth, it's going to be my own direct contemplation, right? And so I started like around age, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but probably around like age, I can't even remember, like 19, 20. So I'm like 25 now, 26 in a few months or whatnot. And so, like, really, I came out of school, like, I had a kind of distaste for school. I had a distrust for school. I didn't like school. I knew it was built on bullshit beliefs. And so when I first came out of school, I was like, finally, I've got the freedom to think for myself. I finally got the freedom to really get down to the bottom of things and ask what I really want. Because, you know, school sets you up for shit that I never wanted. Sets you up for a job or to go to university. I didn't want any of that. I didn't even necessarily want to follow my quote-unquote passions of like filmmaking and music. I wanted to I didn't really know, like, conceptualize this, conceive of it, or articulate it like this in my mind, but there was this kind of intuition that I need to step outside of all beliefs and figure out what's real and true and authentic for me, outside of any other preconceived, pre-constructed and packaged program, system, or belief made by someone else. I needed to find out what was real and true for me. So I had this kind of thing, right? This anarchist attitude of being like, I don't trust anybody, so I'm gonna figure shit out by myself, right? But like I've said, I strayed away from it. I stray away from it all the time. But yeah, honestly, man, the heart of this, the core of this, is coming back to this question. What do you know for certain? For certain, without a shadow of a doubt, what is true? Not what's probable, what's possible, what is maybe the case, what is likely, but what you know absolutely. What can you know absolutely? What can you verify to be the truth absolutely? Is there much? Or is it just existence exists, isness is? And even that, maybe even that's saying too much, hey? But don't take my word on it. Look for yourself. And this is really what truth seeking is about. This is what enlightenment is about. This is what spirituality is about. Yeah? Literally just being so intimate with your experience, with yourself, with reality. So intimate, so curious. So curious about it. And having this sincerity and this determination and persistence to really know what is happening here. What is happening? Who am I? What is this thing? What's going on here? And not to find some conceptual answer, but to just really realize the fact that you don't know, man. But this is happening. You don't know what it is, but it's happening. And to be so immersed and engaged and intimate with the miracle of existence. The fucking miracle of aliveness, of awakeness, of consciousness, of, words can't do it justice, but you know what I mean? That's what spirituality is about. So I think you understand. I think that's all that can be said about this. So thank you for watching. If you want to talk more about this, you can book a one-on-one call with me if you think I can help you out. We've also got an online community, the Truth Playground. If you feel very conflicted or confused about any of these things that I've spoken about, come join the community and we can all help each other out and connect. And stay tuned for the book. And enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself. I'll see you next time. Peace.